It's 3:33. We can bring this board to order. It's January 21, 2025. And I'm looking for my agenda. So many things here. Sorry. Okay. I need help. Is it this? Okay. Okay. This says call to order invocation pledge of allegiance. I don't think that board, this board usually does that. So let's just bring this to order. And President's remarks. I'm not sure that I have any, except that I'm excited that we actually have a number of applicants for our open position for this board, and that's exciting because so many times we don't have any. So thank you, all of you, whoever, for applying. City Administrator remarks. Who do we have?
Sure.
Mr. Sykes?
I'll go ahead and go first.
Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Things are moving along pretty good on the development side with all the home developments, businesses, Tractor Supplies moving along. You know, All Subs is open. And there's a couple others coming down the road soon as well. And we did finally get the V ordered for the sign at Carver Park.
Thank you.
They finally
Wow.
got back
Maybe
to
we
us.
should have a standing ovation for that.
After several emails, so Kit gave them the go-ahead to do it this morning, and we're working on that, so hopefully that'll be done pretty quickly.
Great. Okay.
Sir?
Mr. Sides?
Actually, I don't really have,
Anything for us?
no, good to see you all. Good to see you, Mr. Beeson. I actually heard a rumor that you were instrumental in the bridge down there. No? Yeah, wasn't.
That's Ronnie Boyer.
Oh, Ronnie Boyer. Sorry, I get you guys confused.
And this is recorded.
Ronnie Boyer, got it. Got the B's, Boyer and Beeson. But no, it's been a busy 2 months, and I know that we're going to be bringing some items to you just to see if you all might have some interest in helping get things funded with our fire chief, Chief Warner. It's kind of been through council, and anyway, I think it's a worthy opportunity for our B board to maybe help fund it. You guys can see all of the activity that's going on. Things are getting dug up, and down there across from Valero, that was a pretty impressive hole that they dug. So anyway, that's not your guys' area, but anyway, exciting time. So that's about it.
One more update that she reminded me of is that we've gotten 2 quotes so far now to replace the marquee sign out front. We're waiting on a 3rd one.
And they haven't been super communicative, so we're probably going to reach out to a 4th just to see. But we do have those numbers back, and so far the company that Ricky uses is the best option. And quite honestly, it would be my recommendation probably to go with them anyway because they're here local, and they do a lot to support our city. So met the company, great company. So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public comments. I have 2 yellow cards filled out. Philip Jackson.
Philip Jackson, 420 South Albetsy Road, Suite A. I just wanted to let the 4B board know that I'll be making a application for a certificate of occupancy for that address this week. It'll be known as shared solutions for small businesses and organizations. 420 South Old Betsy Road, Suite A. Suite A. All right, thank you.
Do you want to tell us about it, or any specifics?
Well,
or-
I get contacted a lot for people wanting to, park cars or something, for sale. And I think some of them are even dealers, but they have to have a physical address in order to operate as a dealer. So that should, help some of those requests.
Okay,
And
great.
then, whatever else comes along.
Is
Good.
this kind of like the place in Burleson, kind of like by out front of Antonio's? Is that, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it'll get that busy. Hopefully not, hopefully not, because I don't know what else is going to be required, from the CO
Okay.
application, but whatever
So I don't
transpires
think,
from that, then I'll go forward from there.
Well, very good.
I don't think I've been in there, or if I have, it's been a long time. So do you have spaces for lease or rent, or, I mean, I know
Well, right
at one
now,
time you'd
Suite A
talked
is-
sort of about an incubator. You'd shared that
I
with me.
did at one time, and I may still. This would be a micro platform for that, but right now, Suite A is a 10 by 10 office suite with a bathroom.
Okay. Well, good.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Paul Knott?
Okay. Paul Knott, 37-year resident of Keene, the last 25 at 107 North Old Mansfield Road. Appreciate what you do, Type B, and appreciate those who are here today. Thank you for following through on your commitment to serve on this board. I'm here to talk about the Expo, which is our 21st Business Expo. That'll be Sunday, February 23rd. You have an exhibit in front of you of last year's Expo, which sold out with those businesses and entities participating. At 1 p.m. today, those who were involved last year received an invitation to be the first to return this year. And they'll have about a week to do that, and then we will open it up to others. But we do want to honor those who were with us before to give them a first chance to come back. So that's really all I have to say about that. The city has 2 booths there, and so Type B and Type A are certainly welcome to probably work through Don and Jonathan on that. Otherwise, I want to invite you to our chamber luncheon Thursday. Doors open 11:30. We already have 98 RSVPs. And our speaker is Johnson County Judge Christopher Bedecker. Doors open 11:30 in the community center, and we conclude right at 1. So hope to see you there. All right, Type B, appreciate everything you do, and looking forward to the sign. Is it Lisa Carper Park? Carter Park? Carver
Carver.
Park, okay, very good.
Thank you. Okay, item number 5, general. Review, discuss, and consider the minutes of the Keene EDC Type B Board meeting held on December 17, 2024. Is there a motion? Have you had a chance to look at those? To accept those?
Madam President,
Yes.
I approach.
Yes, sir.
My main concern was to thank you for your $2,500 support, Type B. Type A provides $2,500, so does Type B. You did that again this year. So please rest assured that all of our communication indicates that it's the 21st Annual Keene Business Expo presented by the Keene Business Development Corporation, the Keene Economic Development Corporation, and Southwestern Adventist University, as organized by the Keene Chamber of Commerce. All right.
Thank you. Okay, back to the minutes. Okay, I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Daniel, all in favor? Thank you. That carries. Okay, then review, discuss, and consider approval of the minutes for the joint Keene Economic Development Corporation workshop that was held on January 6, 2025. So, It was an interesting meeting. Thank you for organizing it for us. And I was personally a little bit late, sorry, but it was very enlightening, and we did learn a lot of interesting things, so thank you. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
And a second?
No second.
Okay, second by Daniel. Thank you. All in favor? It carries. Okay. Oh. Keep losing my place, I apologize. I know, but I have lost my paper again. Okay. Review, discuss, and consider the Keene EDC Type B Board Financial Report for the month ending December 31, 2024. Mr. Williams, hi, it's nice to see you.
Yes, good afternoon. Good to be seen. I have the presentation for the December board and some news on that relative at this time with the sales tax revenue. There's been a report, I think, the past couple weeks that the sales tax has been on the decline. Of course, I'm looking forward to it to pick back up this year. Usually there's a decline during the election year. If you recall, 4 years ago, it almost did the same thing, and it picked back up in January, February. So I'm looking forward to the same trend for that. With that being said, the year-to-date on the sales tax on that line item is at 22.5%, which is 2.5% below the target. It's still good. We're still within range, but it's a little bit below than the norm. Our interest income continue to be a great stead with that 5% interest that Pinnacle Bank allows. So at this time, we are close to 50% of our target, which our budget, we had budget for 12,000 and it's almost 6,000 already. So we're gonna be well over budget by next reporting time. Our expenditures continue to be favorable. With that being said, we do have the cost mostly from the capital from the courts that we had purchased, I think, from previous times. So with those numbers, it kind of skewed the numbers just a little tad higher. I don't see much spending, and Don can attest from this. He doesn't use as much operating expenses as prior administrations before us, which is great. And I would easily say that the numbers look very good at this time. Now, in our money market accounts, we had $544,021. So it continued to increase with that, and it's there for your consideration for any future projects or tasks and functions that you may have in that. So in lieu of all of this, the numbers look great. Sales tax is down these past couple months, but looking forward to pick it up in next quarter. Wall Street, I looked at that this weekend, and they're looking for a great sales tax revenue around March, April. So kind of going by what Wall Street, those experts there, they kind of know what the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, what we spend on quite a bit. And I trust Eric Tournay. He's a Wall Street analyst for the past 22 years, and he's pretty good at that. So I'm trusting on him to come through with his projections. That's all I have for the report, in lieu of Dinah Acosta, who is away out of the country for personal reasons, but she'll be back to do the following months coming up. That's all I have at this time.
Are there any questions or concerns from anyone? Mr. Williams?
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. A second?
Second.
Daniel, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay, item D, review, discuss, and consider recommending to the council the reappointment of the members whose terms, 2-year terms expire March 1, 2025. Terms on this board, Charles Easley, Cheryl Schramm, and Ricky Stevens.
Move to approve.
So there's a motion to approve the return of the existing members. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Wait for you, Donnie.
I already did it. I made the
Oh.
motion, dude.
I wasn't paying
No
attention.
second? Ah. Okay, all in favor? Okay, that carries. Thank you. Review, discuss, and consider applications received from Jimmy Alcala, Philip Jackson, Cody Lowe, and Nellie Youngberg for appointment to the Keene EDC Type B Board to fill one vacancy for the term ending March 2026, and any possible open board appointments. Well, since we all returned, I guess we have no other additional open appointments, so we will not be having any of that end in 2027. So, have you had a chance, folks, to look at these applications? I spoke to Mr. Akala today. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He said he might not be able to come. I wanted to know if he would be able to come. He said he would try to swing by if he could. He was in Fort Worth. He lives in Bristol Oaks. He's lived in the city of Keene for about 2.5 years now. He's been involved in the auto industry, in management through the years, he said. I think 25 years in that. He has served on boards before, like on the HOA of a previous homeowners association where he lived, I think in Burleson, and in his church he served on administrative boards and things. So, and he said he would probably attend our luncheon. There's one more, 99, number 99, for our Chamber of Commerce on Thursday. Another application was put in by Nellie Youngberg. She's a local business person. She owns Mountain Coffee. She has run for office before. She would like to be more involved in the town as times go. She, you know, is very interested in what this board does, but she was not able to be here yet today. Mr. Jackson has applied. And then the last fella, I wasn't able to reach him. If anybody knows him or would like to talk about him a little bit, that's fine. I believe he helps with the flags. Paul Knott.
It's Troy Smith's son.
So Councilman Smith's son. And I know he helps our chamber put up flags and things, so I'm sure he's interested in being involved. So these have been put forward for our consideration. What would you guys like to do? We have quite a little list here. Would anyone like to
I'd like to see a little
nominate
more,
someone?
I'd like to see more female representation up here.
Okay.
So I think that
You'd like to,
Ms. Nellie see if she's willing to serve and help us.
Okay, so is that a motion? Are you making a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay,
She is
Is-
a business owner.
yes, she is a
Spoke
business
to her
owner.
before. She seemed really interested.
Yes.
I'll second that, I guess.
Okay, and we have a second. Any further discussion?
I know we were trying to, not have people that were currently on other boards, and it looks like Nellie is on another board at the
No,
moment.
she.
Well, not with the city.
No,
Oh,
she
with the
listed her priorities, what board she'd like to be on there.
Oh, okay.
That's what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's not on a board right now.
so, okay.
Oh, on the second, on page 16, it says, are you currently serving on a city board or commission? It says yes.
Well, yes, but then she lists the Keene Chamber of Commerce, and it is not a city board.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes, I saw that too. Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. So, all in favor of appointing Nellie Youngberg to the Type B Board? And is there any opposed?
No.
No? Okay, all in favor, if that's fine, great, it passes. So, I guess you can notify Miss Nellie of the time that we have our meetings.
doesn't that have to be approved by city council?
Yes, that's true, you're right. But I'm sure they will
No,
approve.
yeah.
But that's fine, yes. Okay, so we would like to recommend her to the city council to be on this board. And thank you to everybody who has applied for this. Continue to apply. If you watch this later, I notice a couple of these people would like to serve on other boards, and I know Mr. Akala told me that too, so that would be great. Item F, review, discuss, and consider the purchase and installation of additional secondary outdoor warning siren. Chief Warner.
I asked Chief to present, he presented to council, those of you that got to watch it. I thought it might be something you all would be interested in.
Good afternoon, Type B Board Commissioners, City Manager, and citizens. So as City Manager was saying, I asked to give a presentation to City Council. The premise there is going to be a little bit different than our presentation to you, but I was also asked to give roughly the exact same presentation. And I guess they all enjoyed it and found it very informative. But before we actually get into that, for those who don't know me, my name is Dan Warner. I am the Fire Chief for the City of Keene. What you may not know is that I also serve as the Emergency Management Coordinator. Sounds almost similar, and they are kind of overlapping, but it is a complete and separate job. So in my tasks as the Emergency Management Coordinator, a lot of it has to do with naturally occurring crises, wildfires, flooding, things like that, and we help prepare not only how to mitigate those, but also how to prepare for them and then how to recover from those things. And as part of that, the outdoor warning system that we currently have falls under those auspices. So with that in mind, we'll start our presentation. Before I actually really get into it, I want to say thank you to all of those that helped put this together. It was not just me, there were quite a few people involved. And with that in mind, I have somebody to introduce to you, and she's going to explain what kind of part she played in it. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Destiny. Just introduce yourself and let them know who you are and what you're doing.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Destiny Buechler. I am working on my master's in disaster preparedness and emergency management through Arkansas State University. I'm super appreciative of the ability to do my internship through the City of Keene and under Fire Chief. So that way I can learn more hands-on experience throughout my degree to complete the requirements and to learn more and to really get into the career. It has been an exciting opportunity. I've already helped with several things, including Starfest and our parade, doing emergency plans for those, and being involved with the planning. And then I got to be involved with this project as well.
Yes.
And some other projects we're working on currently as well, so.
So part of what she didn't really know is that
as getting ready to be an emergency management coordinator, she'd obviously have to do some public speaking, so I kind of let her know at the last minute that she'd be here, so she was a little nervous. So originally, when we began this, we had a council member that wanted it on the council agenda because there are some sirens around our city that do not function, and there were some citizens that were a little confused about that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about where those are located, as well as where our working siren is. So if you look at the overall map, and I know that you have a packet, you can follow along in that packet, but for those in the audience and at home, you can see here, these are locations that are identified. The ones we're going to be talking about are known as 2T22 sirens. And they were top of the line, the best of the best in the 1950s and 60s. It's my understanding that the ones we're going to be talking about here were inherited from the city of Cleburne by Keene and then installed at that time, and we'll talk about why they don't actually function. So over a three-day period, I actually drove nearly every city street in our area trying to locate these. I could not find a city map, or I could not find any records about where these were installed. So all of this was done by actually driving and trying to locate these. Once I was able to get some GPS data, I then gave that to Ms. Buechler, and then she was able to put together a presentation. So we're going to jointly do this, and we'll talk about some of that. So again, we're going to be referring to this map quite often. So if you look at site 1, this is a siren type that we're talking about. I'm sure you've seen them around. I need for everybody to know and understand that these do not function.
Never have.
This is site number 1. You want to talk a little bit about that? It's right here north of town.
Yes, this one's north of town. One is on the intersection of 2280 and 3048 in CC Cook. So it's right there on the corner. It is next to the wastewater lift station. When you're driving by, you actually can see it if you do happen to look that direction. That is one of the first sites that's very noticeable in the city.
So you just click there. We'll go to the next site, number 2.
So this one is up off of Old Mansfield Road. This is also at one of our water facilities there as well, next to the water tower.
With this one, I ask you to keep this one in mind because I'm going to refer back to it in just a little bit.
This one is right off 67 on the highway. It's too small for me to read that county road at the moment. It's at 805.
Everybody knows well 7. You've heard of that? Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Actually, well, 14.
14. I'm sorry,
14.
sir. 14.
Water plant number 7.
Thank you.
Right across from Ashton Home Place.
Thank you,
There we
sir.
go. Yes. And then this one is just on the south side of 67 on Old Betsy, just past underneath the bridge. You'll have this one tucked away as well, there at the wastewater station.
So quick update on this one. From the time we did this presentation until today, there's a developer working in that area, and they came up to the city. Don, you want to tell that story?
Sure, they're having to increase the size of that and lower the size of that lift station for Sunset Ridge in order to get that whole development to gravity flow into this instead of adding another lift station in there and then pumping it to another lift station. So they came to me a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, we need to take down the fence and put this bigger well in, and oh, by the way, that siren there needs to come down. And I was like, oh, no. Then I was like, all right, go ahead. So they took it down for free.
So at no cost to the city, they were able to take that one down for us.
Yes, great.
Yes, it's very exciting. This next one is back there in the Wallen Park Estates, in that trailer park area. You'll see it back there basically on the corner of Alaska and Texas Streets. There's that one as well, south end of town. And then this one is out more eastern. This is the one that is off of, is that 360?
Water treatment plant.
Yeah, it's a wastewater treatment plant there, off of, 318, County Road 318. And then this is the fun one. There are 3 that are actually located all together. This is at the main water station there off of College Drive, the water tower. There are 3 there, and there are actually 3 different types, and we'll get into that as well.
So, going back, you can see the 2T22 on the very left, and then there's a tall one in the middle, and then a shorter one on the right, which is right in line with the water tower. So when I was initially hired as fire chief, and then later on I was assigned as the emergency management coordinator, one of my first tasks was to find out why the middle siren was not working. So again, I talked to a few people, and there were those that promised they heard it just last month, and that, oh, it was working, and it's just all of a sudden stopped. However, when I investigated, this is a picture of me, actually. I borrowed the aerial ladder platform from Cleveland Fire Department and went up there. There was a very well-established beehive there, which tells me that it had not been functioning for quite a long time. And needless to say, the bees were not happy that I was looking into things.
Hence
So,
the hazmat suit.
yes. Well, actually, that one is a true bee suit. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I'm just making
Yep.
fun of you.
So, at that time, I was able to put together a presentation, and I made it towards city council and council elected to go ahead and fund a new outdoor warning system. And what we did at that point is we were able to get not only the siren installed, but it was more than that. We had to install a brand new server and all the electronics and software that went into it. And the way we ended up designing it was, if you want to think about a personal computer, a desktop computer, you've got the computer, but you also have peripherals. You've got a mouse, you've got a keyboard, you've got speakers, you've got a microphone. It's a good analogy to how this was designed. The server being the computer, we designed it so that we could add on more sirens over time very easily. So we have this functioning now. For the city of Keene, if you look in that picture on the right, that is the only functioning outdoor warning siren in the city. And I'll show you some sound maps about what that covers in just a little bit. So this is the sound map for the existing siren. This was developed by the engineers of the company that installed it. When that siren activates, looking at the map that you have in front of you, this is a representation of where that sound will travel. Of course, that is affected by humidity, atmospheric conditions, wind, clouds, and then any geography changes. If somebody were to build a new house or a tall building, that would, of course, affect where the sound gets to. But you can see it covers most of the city limits of Keene, but not all. The city council at the time did decide to fund that. It was installed, and this is what we have in place today. The 2 T22s, the ones that we saw that look like nested horns, Don, for you. This is now my infamous prop. Think of those as this horn. They're all over the city, but they don't function because what is missing is the part that actually makes the noise. So all you have is a bugle with nothing to make the sound. That was never installed and is no longer available. You can't buy it. As a matter of fact, those are so old that we did have a person, I want to say that he was with the Army Corps of Engineers, but I'm not positive, but he wanted to take some of those and put them in a museum in Washington, D.C., because they were representative of the Civil Air Patrol and the Civil Air Defense back in the 1950s and 60s. They elected not to do that because the system was incomplete, but I was in negotiations with them. They were going to take it all down at no cost to the city. So again, our premise is a little bit different. What council wanted to know is why weren't those working and what is. So at the time, we began discussing what could be done in the future. And it was recommended that we make a presentation to Type B Board to discuss funding another siren. If that is a consideration, the next sound map, again, it's in your packet, would look like that. So we have concerns that people, particularly south side of town, don't hear it very well. If you think that the wind mostly comes out of the south during most of the year, of course, they're not going to be able to hear things very well. On the north side of town, we have a lot of population as well. And so there was a consideration about where should we put the next one. In discussion with a lot of the audio engineers, sound engineers for this particular company, they recommended at this time, they would recommend putting one on the north side. So we've already done the research and we've already picked out a location. If you go back to site number 2 in your packet, that is where we're recommending that we would install one once it's funded. There is the ability to have electric for this device readily available. It would come off the pump station and it's already there. So very little work to actually get it functioning. As the city grows, as funding becomes available, we can always look at adding to this outdoor warning system to cover those needs. With that in mind, I want to let this body know that an outdoor warning system is considered a secondary warning device. It is not meant to notify everybody of danger. It is designed to let people who are outside know that there is a problem. You need to go inside and get some more information. If you're inside, the likelihood that you hear this is remote. You might hear it, you're probably not, because you're inside, you've got other noise, you've got the air conditioning going, you've got children making noise, you've got a television on, a radio on, whatever that case is, you're probably not going to hear it unless you're outside. So something for consideration. All right, what I am looking for today is direction from this board. If you choose to potentially fund this, at that point, I will know I can go out and get some quotes. The estimated cost is in the neighborhood of $50,000. That would be for the siren, the pole, the installation, and the electric. A big variable is the electric. How big of a line are we going to have to put in, or how many feet are we going to have to trench, and that kind of thing. Again, we've already identified the second location, and so if that is what this board decides and gives me direction from the city manager as well, then I can go out and I can get those quotes and bring it back to you with an exact number, or as close as I can get. With that in mind, this is the end of our presentation, and I will be happy to answer any questions, or you can ask her as well and put her on the spot.
Question. We all have cell phones, so do we have a system in place in the city for cell phone?
Yes, sir, we do, and that would be a primary means of notification. So we have a link on the city's website. All of our citizens can sign up for that, and it's free. They will get a text notification of an issue, but there's also something called a digital divide, and that's for people who don't have cell phones or don't know how to use them or don't have computers or whatever the case is. As our generations continue and we move on, you know, most everybody will have access to that, but we still have a demographic that is just not comfortable with technology. But to answer your question, we already have that capability and we use it extensively.
Do we know if our surrounding neighbors also have this kind of system, like Cleburne, Burleson, Alvarado?
All three that
Joshua?
you mentioned have this and it's existing.
Mm-hmm. And do they have good coverage for their municipalities?
They do. They have multiple sirens.
Mm-hmm. And they keep them up, and they consider this still an important
Correct.
way of notifying folks of impending dangers and what
Correct.
have you.
That is correct.
Where would you put the third one if you're gonna do a third one?
With a third one, I'd look at putting it to the southern end of town, out towards Wallen Ridge or Wallen Estates. The issue there is the electric. We don't,
Three-phase, right?
it depends. So I believe in some instances they may need 220, but we'd have to take a look at what's available. We do have city-owned property where we could get electric. So for example, the wastewater treatment plant off of 318, it'd be fairly easy to get electric from there. Might cost a little bit more than the secondary location that we've identified because it'd be a longer run. A lot of it depends. The existing siren site with the non-functioning 2 T22 in Wallen Estates is in a right-of-way. It's a utility right-of-way. There's not any electric readily available that I'm aware of in that particular area. That it'd be a challenge.
There used to be a lift station there years ago.
So there's probably three-phase there, huh?
I'm not sure, I'd have to look at the power pole, but at one time there was a lift station right there by the bridge and the railroad tracks. That's why that siren was put there.
Does having these sirens working affect our ISO rating?
ISO, it does not.
Okay.
So ISO would be firefighting capability.
Right.
Right. This is more of, again, it goes from fire to more emergency
safety.
management. This particular system has the capability of warning our citizens of impending flash flood, high winds, wildfire, tornado warning, tornado watch, and the list can go on. As per council at the time, I was instructed to program it to only sound for tornado warning, and that's why we've kept it. We don't want to really confuse anybody. We do test it. The traditional testing was the first Thursday of every month at 9 a.m. How many of you heard that recently? No, right? So what I've done differently, we did have some technical issues with it a while back, and we've worked with it, got it functioning again, but I've had them reprogram it. It will do what's known as a growl test, which is a very quick bump on the siren. We have the technology available, so we don't have to sound it for 3 to 5 minutes and get it really wind up. All we're verifying is that everything works, that it receives signal, it sends a signal back. It doesn't have to bother everybody. We can just quick bump and it will tell me, give me a computer readout that everything's working correctly. So that's the way we've got it right now. If you live very close to it, you might hear it, and it does sound like a little growl. You might hear that quick bump, and then that's all that you'll hear at this particular time.
Is it possible to spend a little bit more money and have smaller units that can be dispersed in better locations in the city?
We could potentially look at that, but again, with the smaller units, they're not going to be as loud, and if you're talking about even height of the pole, that affects the range that they'll make, so we may end up having to buy more in the long run.
Yeah.
I could look at what different products this particular company has. We went with what they've recommended, and we could see what else is available. I might even be able to get them here and give a presentation to you.
Oh, I don't know, I was just thinking, what makes the north side more important than the south side?
Right now, we're looking at, well, at the time we did this study, we were looking at population as well as feasibility. It would have been very easy to put this in at that particular one site. We could do it at a lower cost than in other places. Again, potentially. There's a lot of variables and things have changed over the years.
The second location is also by the other water tower, which is back here, which is probably the second highest point.
That place right there, that's what that is.
Right,
Yeah.
is, elevation-wise, it's probably the second highest
Yeah, but you're throwing a lot of signal, not in the city, right?
as far as,
Well, I mean, if that's the water tower back there,
Yeah.
west side of that is out of the city, it's in the country.
True.
It's cool, but I'm just saying, is there?
right.
If you look in your packet, you see that one that looks like what you're seeing up on the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, that's the sound map, and that's where their engineers say the acoustics will occur.
So the area that you say is the least covered is out there in Wallen Park?
We've had, that's actually where this began. There were people that saw the siren out there and they noticed it was not working.
It wasn't working.
And so they went to a council member and wanted to ask.
Which is why we'd like to get them taken down.
Yes.
So as far as taking the non-functional ones down, I'll tell you what I told council. I've approached multiple city managers that we've had since I've been here. And the whole reason is I don't want to confuse our citizens. The only issue is cost. Some, like the one at Wallen Estates, a chainsaw, and we can get it down. Others are going to be a lot more difficult because they are tied in with city property. They're next to existing equipment. They have a chain link fence surrounding them. There, we would likely have to hire a crane and crane operators and whatnot to be able to get those down safely without damaging any property or without endangering any employees as well. So we've looked at, and I'm still open to suggestions, what else could we do with those already in existence? Maybe we could get the heads taken off, the actual horn part of it, and we can repurpose those utility poles. Some recommendations are maybe birdhouses for migrating birds. Another would be a bat box to encourage bats to nest there to help with vector control, mosquitoes and whatnot. But I am open to any suggestions. But along with that comes some cost.
And I really kind of like those suggestions. The main thing is getting, getting that part off so it doesn't look like a siren anymore.
So in this $50,000, does that include the abatement of the previous stuff, taking it down, or?
No.
You're not asking?
No,
for
that would be an
assistance with
additional
that?
cost, because it's roughly $45,000 for the siren and the pole.
Mhm.
And I've asked, can we just put the new siren head on the existing pole? They will do that, but they won't warranty it. They want it on their equipment because it was designed for theirs, it's proprietary, and that's the only way that they will warranty it. Taking anything down would just be an additional cost. Now, they have the equipment, we can, hey, while you're there, but there'll be some extra money for that.
When was the other siren put up off of College?
I want to say it was 2019.
And that's the newest one?
Yes.
And we haven't had any issues or problems with it?
We have. There's always going to be maintenance issues with it. Right now, I'm having to replace the batteries on those about once a year. And if there are any problems with the radios or anything like that, I have to get technicians out. We actually had lightning strike it one year, and it fried out the circuit board, and we had to get that replaced as well. That is a good reason why we should have a second one, because if one fails, at least we have another one.
Do you know how much, I guess, the maintenance cost is that you've spent on it?
A lot of it depends, so I could look into getting a maintenance contract, and I've actually got some money budgeted for the existing one. But I would rather spend that money on maintenance as needed. A lot of it we're learning to do on our own. I will tell you I'm not very comfortable with that, because I would rather they be liable than us, right? So annual maintenance contract's probably gonna be in the neighborhood of about $3,000 a year. I will tell you that anytime they come out, they bring a lift, and if we had to rent a lift to do anything, it's minimum of $1,000 a day. So that, you can figure that into what we're paying for.
And with that one being from 2019, are there any newer sirens that are out there that may be better?
I'm sure there are. There's always new technological advancements. The issue that we're going to be with is we've built our system for that particular product, so it's not like you can take parts off of a Chevy and put them on a Ford all the time, right? So it's probably a good analogy. We have to stick within that system with that particular manufacturer, that proprietor, and stick with their product.
Right, you know, I guess if they have a updated model that maybe,
I don't know off the top of my head, but that's something that we can definitely look into. I know that they have different products, and they can do some pretty spectacular things. What they have in Burleson is a good example. Theirs will also have voice command. So not only will it have a siren, but it'll come out and you'll hear a voice tell you, dangerous winds, go inside.
But they have a much smaller unit, more frequently placed throughout the community.
Correct, they have a different type of siren. Ours will make a circle so that everybody can hear it.
Did this board buy the one in 2019?
I'm sorry?
Did this board buy the one you
No.
replaced in
No,
2019?
council did that. It came out of the city's general fund.
Will they offer a discount on multiple units?
I don't know the answer to that, sir, but I can definitely look into it.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. And then, it'd be nice to see on this nice map here, the outline of the city limits too. Be helpful.
We can work on that for you.
I'd like to see if we can get the price whittled down and buy two of them and cover our entire city if we're gonna spend the money.
Very good. So with that, can I take it as
So,
direction from this
yeah.
board?
So are we going to just then ask for them to bring back further information to us on this and investigate it?
That's kind of all we're looking for at this point.
Yeah.
We're not
Just
expecting a
wanted-
yes, we're just saying, hey, is this something you guys would be willing to consider and, you know, keep
It's one
looking.
of our projects.
And it would be very interesting to see how much a system like Burleson's cost. Why would we not want something like that if we're gonna spend the money?
I can definitely talk to them. I know their chief.
Okay, so do we need a motion for that, or just,
And can this board fund that kind of project?
yeah, we can.
It's a quality of life for your citizens, so,
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
I'd like to see us partner with city council.
That would be perfect.
hey, you know some people.
Yeah, well, maybe we could get more bang from our buck if we could get some city money too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're all agreed, then bring back some more information to us.
Will do.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so
Good
much.
job.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time and appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Oh, and
And,
Destiny,
and Destiny, thank you.
working very hard and getting ready for a career.
Good job.
Congratulations. Thank you.
How are you at mapping, outlining the city on
Yeah.
maps? Or do I need to get some help from some other people?
I think I definitely have got that.
Know how to do that.
Awesome, awesome.
I was able to create all the maps that we showed except for our diagram here, so, should be
Hey,
pretty quick.
Chief, and
Very good, appreciate
just
it.
out of curiosity, we're in construction, so we understand why they put the original ones where they did. They needed three-phase electricity. I'd like to challenge you to put them where they belong in our city, and, you know what I'm saying? I
See
mean,
what it would
if you're
take.
gonna put an emergency system in, let's put it where it belongs and then find out how to get the power to it.
I'll talk to their engineers and we can definitely look at that for you.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Mine tractor supply would be a great place for
That's on a hill there, that's a great idea.
Okay.
I'm kidding when I say this, but what I'm hearing is money's no object and let's just go get
Well,
it.
That's what the city administrator said for the city.
it. Let's get the biggest bang for the dollar.
That is not true.
okay, thank you very much. I see we have no executive session scheduled, so are there any requests for future agenda items from anyone?
Someone was gonna talk to the tech dot about sidewalk system down Old Betsy Road.
Well, I actually did have a meeting with them last week, as well as the university, and Chief also invited me to, Chief, what was the name of that organization?
EDC.
EDC.
JC, EDC?
Yeah, so,
EDC.
so I had several meetings last week, and really the premise of it is, you know, how do we kind of work together and pool, like, you know, have mutual projects, and how do we pool it? So I did have some good meetings, and also there was something that came across from TxDOT that we have to have in by February 20th, as far as projects that they will look at to assist in funding. So it is in my office. I am working on it. Again, you know, the more we pool funds, the faster we get to where we're going.
We're also going to get an update on possibly lighting the pickleball courts. Remember, we're gonna go out for bids or,
I believe you were supposed to work on that, sir.
what was I supposed to work on? Remind me, because I'll do it. What was it? Helping you lay it out. Was I gonna do that?
Yeah, you were just gonna reach out to different companies to try and get me some quotes.
I didn't know I was gonna do that, but I'll help you.
That's, I believe, what you volunteered for. Can we check the minutes?
Let me put it on my note. I'll take care of
Was
it.
it
Thank
in
you.
last time's minutes that we voted in that?
And did we come to anything on a skate park?
I
kinda-
have quotes. I have not had a chance to reach out to any other companies. That-
Okay, yeah, we got a lot going on.
Right.
And do we want to put on our agenda to prioritize our dream list?
Well, I think that was part of, like, at that training, we had talked about kind of getting together and kind of prioritizing and kind of putting a list and goals, and which is why we said, you know, I think it'd be a good idea to do another one where we come back and, you know, A and B talk together and let's kind of give us a list, because right now, at least my very first one, it was kind of a long list, and I've only got one guy here.
And he does-
That's knowledgeable, I mean, you know, so,
So are we going to be scheduling that sometime soon so we can sort of focus our thoughts, or are we just going to set our own?
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, we're happy to set it up whenever, but I think it'd be a good idea for Ricky and Samantha, and I'm happy to have those offline conversations with them, just to kind of get an idea for, you know, when that could be. And I would encourage it to, you know, let's have some fun with it, you know, let's provide dinner, lunch, something.
Also still trying to work on the benches along Old Betsy with TxDOT. Also working on, you know, we talked about the ball fields, how that big field hasn't been used in almost 2 years now. I had our engineers kind of come up with a design of how to catch all that water coming off of Pioneer or coming down the hill. And they got those plans for us, so I'll bring that back to the board probably next month and talk about direction on, do we want to maybe try and do that in-house? Because that would be the first step, is to get that drainage next to the fields, keep the water, the majority of the water from going onto the fields, especially the big one, because it's at the bottom of the hill. And then we can work on the fields themselves once we get that drainage in place. So I'll bring that back to you next month with those plans. And do we want to go out for bids, get a contractor to do it, or do we want to try and just buy it and maybe do it in-house with volunteers in Public Works?
Did we not spend money on an engineer for that? I know we talked about,
Budget money for it?
yeah.
Yes, we did, and
Okay.
they got that, and they got those plans back to me.
Okay.
So that would be the next step, is how do you want to proceed with that?
Good.
Have they completed the concrete on 4th Street at the Pocket Park?
No, they have not. Kevin was in the hospital.
Oh.
He was supposed to get it laid out for me last week, but he didn't get to that yet. He had a stroke.
Oh, how's he doing?
He's better, and I think he's back home now.
Good, I didn't know that.
But yeah, he was, I hadn't heard from him in like a week and a half, and I called him, and he was in the hospital.
Wow.
But he's bouncing back, or?
He is, yeah, it's
Okay.
doing better.
As far as the skate park, I could reach out to SPA Skate Parks. They're the ones who built the Chisholm Trail and the ones in Fort Worth. And if you don't mind, I could reach out to them and get some
I'll
information.
take all the help I can get.
Good, thank you. Okay, if nothing else, we can go ahead and adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn at 4:32?